Hey y'all, welcome back to Ryan and Robert Rants. Today we are continuing our ranked Superman journey. Robert, which one we knocking out today?
We are going to be doing Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the final installment in the what you would call Christopher Reeve's saga of Superman films.
Saga. Yeah.
Saga.
We'll go with that phrase. But yeah, so Superman 4, we made it, y'all. We made it to the end of the Christopher Reeve saga. It's been an adventure, to say the least.
Yes. Some ups, some downs, some laughs, some crying.
From us.
Yes.
Off screen, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Never on screen. I digress. Yes, so Superman 4, just as the previous ranked episodes, we're going to be going over a little brief synopsis, some of the meat and potatoes. We're going to try to keep this one a little shorter. Keyword try. We're going to do our best. But hey, I mean, a lot of these, they just warrant discussion. And some of these discussions that me and Robert come up with, it's like, it just has to be had. So thank you so far for joining us on the journey. And if you haven't already, definitely go check out the other 3 episodes that we have. And we still got a couple more to go. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Robert. Oh, yes. Before I forget, completely forgot. We will be doing the breakdown. We're also going to be giving it an out of 10 score. And as always, thank you, Mr. Robert, for your amazing idea. The tier list. We will be ranking this. So we have already ranked the previous 3. So stay tuned at the end. And as always, if you haven't seen Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, we are going to spoil it. So you have been warned. Again, this movie's been out for a very long time, but we also understand everybody's on their own superhero journey right now. So, this is your first time watching it, or if you haven't yet, go watch it. Come back, get in on this conversation because there's a lot to be talked about. So, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Robert, did you want to give like a little brief summary over the movie?
Yeah, I can begin. So yeah, like when Ryan said about, not everybody operates at the same pace as others. I mean, I just watched this movie for the first time for this video. So that was like a week ago now. So, again, I was a movie that I was always told to that it didn't matter if I watched it. Watch the first two, you can skip the whatever. But I'm a completist. I don't know why it took me this long to watch them. It's on Max. This is the version we watched. I don't think there's another version of it, unless you count maybe I don't know the hour they probably cut out of this movie.
God, for real.
Like 40 minutes maybe. But yeah, so I honestly don't remember if we got the opening credits first or not, but I remember the first scene I watched for this one was the film the begin they're in like at a Russian space station. There's cosmonauts working out outside like on it in space, and all of a sudden it kind of gets hit by space debris. You see a cosmonaut just kind of like fleeing, just floating away into the vast emptiness of space, and then all of a sudden our hero, our titular character of Superman, played by Christopher, like the flying gets progressively worse as the series went on,
It's
and
just
in this
this
one,
like 7 times.
it's so bad.
It's the
It's
same cut
so
too.
bad. Oh, it's so bad. But and I was gonna say that this part with another part that's coming up like after, literally almost I think after this scene, maybe a scene after this. But yeah, so Superman comes in, played again by Christopher Reeves, saves the cosmonauts, and patches the space station together, and that's pretty much our our cold opening, our reintroduction to Clark Kent, Superman.
He's
And then
breathing in space in this
he's
scene too.
still breathing in space, yes.
I wanted
Which
to call that out to you because it's super noticeable in this one.
yeah. So again, not exactly part of Superman's wheelhouse of powers, but again, I mean, writers, right? It can do whatever they want based on what the writers think, right?
Yeah.
If,
And he
if he
also
needs
speaks Russian
visibility,
too.
apparently, yeah. Didn't he speak French or Italian in another movie?
I believe so.
It's just like quick.
I
I think it
don't
was when
remember though.
was it when the
Was it the
volcano
Eiffel
exploded?
Tower?
The volcano exploded, or is that in this
Oh,
one?
yes, it's this one.
It's this one. Okay. Yeah. See, it's
We get bilingual Superman in this one.
yes.
A first for the series. Unless you want to count
Uh,
alcoholism as bilingual.
hey, you know what? Well, I mean, you need like you need a sometimes you need a translation for that.
Yeah. See our previous episode, Superman 3, for more information.
I've been inebriated plenty of times.
And I've been there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been slurring like that though, like slurry drunk. Then again, you never know. Anyways,
How would we know?
yeah, exactly. There's no video; it never happened.
Speaking of
But
no
yeah,
video, an hour and 29 minutes for the
this
length.
of this movie, yes,
The shortest one so far. The shortest one. Even the opening credits, 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Yeah, I do remember it went by quick.
Yeah,
The
dude, oh my god, the freaking opening, the animation, dude, clip art galore. I was waiting for
yeah,
Clippy to pop up at the bottom of the screen, ask if we needed assistance. It's so
yes,
freaking, it's of its time. But dude, do
oh
you know
yeah.
anything about the director?
All I read was originally Wes Craven was attached to direct this, but he and Reeve had like conflicts, right? Like creative differences. So then he departed, and then I didn't read too much on why this director was brought in.
So, I don't know as far as the drama goes, but the director himself, Sidney J. Furie, director of Iron Eagle. I don't know if you've ever seen Iron Eagle.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Louis Gossett Jr. and some young white dude whose name I can't remember. But yes, definitely probably a discussion to have one day. It's like a pseudo Top Gun but with a kid.
Wow.
Um so he also did 8 episodes of Pensacola Wings of Gold. I don't know if you ever watched that either. It was a TV show with James Brolin back
Nope.
in the day, father of Josh Brolin. And he also did 5 episodes of VIP, all available on Tubi. And I don't know if you ever saw VIP either with Pamela
Nope.
Anderson back in the day. And he did direct a movie which I enjoyed as a kid. I've only seen it maybe 2 or 3 times, but it used to play a lot when I was a kid. Ladybugs with Rodney Dangerfield.
I don't think I've seen that one either.
Never seen that? Okay, that one's going on our list. We'll talk about that list eventually to y'all. But that's another one. But yeah, dude, so he he's got a body count for movies. But yeah, I mean, and then again, Chris Reeve, top build over Gene Hackman, dude. It only
Yeah.
took 4 movies for it to happen. Um, I completely forgot John Cryer was in this
Yes.
movie.
I'm gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, but music by John Williams. But I like how they sneak in that the music's by him, but it was adapted and conducted by Alexander Courage. So that yeah, John Williams ain't back. This is
Yeah.
adapted.
Yeah.
And story by Christopher Reeve.
But yeah, he got the writing credit for this one, which okay.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to what his input was on this movie.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I digress. Where did we leave off? We left off at the Russians. What happens?
Yeah. Superman saves the day, and then I believe it cuts to Clark Kent returning to the farm in Smallville. Um, he's just reminiscing about everything. I believe it was stated in part 3 that his mother had passed.
Yes, during the
Martha.
dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Martha.
So he's looking
I
to sell
guess
the farm.
I guess Ben Hubbard couldn't keep up with the farm because it's got that for sale sign.
Yeah, I mean it did look pretty tattered and not much left to it anymore. It
Yeah.
was, but yeah, he's approached by a a real estate. I'm just combining words.
Realtor,
A
dude, I like it.
real estate, yeah, that's we're
That's
going
what
with
they
it. A
should be
real
called,
estate
honesty.
realtor, yeah, a real estate agent by the name of Hornsby. So he approaches Clark. I guess he has a client, a big company or whatever, wants to buy the farm outright. Doesn't need to see it. Clark, refuses because he doesn't want some big time developer to come in and put like a highway strip mall, whatever. So he refuses. He wants the buyer to be someone who will actually maintain the farm. Because farmers are like the backbone of this country, and
Literally.
deserve pretty much all the assistance that we can provide. So yeah, and then I think it ends with Clark. They're playing like kind of a catch type game, and he ends up hitting the ball probably to outer space. Again,
Yeah.
the ball probably would have obliterated, but yeah,
That or at least the bat breaking, right?
something, yeah.
Yeah. I did want to mention in this scene, we do also get is this Susanna York comes back in
Oh,
voiceover
that's right. Yep,
with her Krypton.
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 That's right. The crystal comes back.
Yeah, because he goes in to find the crystal, and then he puts. I like how he puts the crystal in the coat pocket, but like half of it is still hanging
Yeah,
out.
and isn't it? It's glowing too, right, or something?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The funniest part, the pit that it's in just disappears. It's just gone. Like it fades out like Yoda in Return of the Jedi.
It joined the Force. It became one with Krypton.
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 And then we finally cut to Lex Luthor with Otis's music. I never heard it as Luthor's music
Yeah.
because the first time we ever hear it is when Otis is introduced. And it just feels
Yeah.
weird having that music for Lex Luthor without seeing Otis. You know what I
You
mean?
think it's to reintroduce his new lackey?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, enter John Cryer as Lenny, Luthor's nephew.
So I saw when he came in, I was like, oh yeah, John Cryer was in this because I know that when he got cast as Lex Luthor in the Supergirl series, there was like he took on the role as kind of like a redemption, right?
Yeah.
And I totally forgot that he was in this one. But
How did
I'm
he
not
do
gonna
in
look.
there?
It actually wasn't bad. It actually wasn't bad.
I would
I was
think,
a little,
especially after 2.5 Men, he'd be
yeah,
like, okay, now I want to go serious,
yeah,
like Chris Evans of like, I'm tired of playing like the comedic role. Now I want to go
yeah.
like
That's why
complete opposite dark.
I didn't see it like when this announcement was first, when it was first announced. I was like, I didn't see it because again, I only really knew him from, and I didn't really watch 2.5 Men. Just the clippets, from here and there. But
Or
I'm
was
just
it
like,
pretty in pink for you?
I didn't. I was like,
Ducky.
I didn't. I was just like, I didn't see it. But I mean, again, the show was still on the CW, so
Yeah.
take that for what it was.
Yeah, true.
But so it wasn't. He wasn't bad.
Yeah, I never did. I fell off because it was just so hard once they started crossing over. As soon as Legends of Tomorrow
Yeah,
came on, I was like, I'm tapping
it was
out.
a little much. It was a little much.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is like Legends got better like the later seasons, and like everything else just got worse.
I remember you telling me that. And I've only seen the
Yeah,
first episode of Supergirl. I've
Supergirl
never went
was.
back.
I
It
think
was
honestly,
interesting.
I think Supergirl was the only one that was consistent throughout. Like it didn't have any highs like Arrow season 1 or Flash season 1, but it
Yeah.
was just consistent. Like Arrow season
Consistently
1,
mediocre.
yeah, it was just like kind of like just following its like trend where Flash and like Arrow started here and then it just nosedived off a cliff.
Yeah.
Supergirl's just consistent. And, like Legends started here and kind of went up. I didn't watch Black Lightning because at this time I was over with the Arrowverse because it was just getting so bad.
Yeah. Still haven't finished watching Arrow.
I finished Arrow. I don't remember the last season too much. I did not finish The Flash.
Same. Like I just again, it's because it relied so much on crossovers,
And
and that
I
it was
got I
like, wait, what just happened? And it's not where it's like, oh, you don't have to watch it, but you'll get more from it. It's like, no, that was
Yeah,
tied into the story. Like
especially
if you
the
continue on, it will not make sense whatsoever.
especially that final crossover.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
what was it
I think it was
called? Not
Crisis, right? Crisis on it.
Crisis on
Yeah,
Infinite
I mean that
Earths.
was a good one, just because seeing everything from the Smallville and like Lucifer coming in, like that was a lot of fun. Like
Yeah.
they even had Ezra Miller.
Oh God.
Yeah, they're the only one they can get.
Before Hawaii
Mm. Yeah, it was probably
in
still during
Vermont.
Hawaii. Yeah, but
But I digress. John Cryer. John
yeah,
Cryer.
yeah. Honestly, and then like when he gets introduced, I don't know what he's like. Like this whole scene is traditional campy, just straight up camp. Like it just makes no sense. He's got some James Bond type car that he ends up like trapping some like what are the security officers in it, and then sends them like literally off of a ramp, and the car explodes.
Yeah, those
And then
guards
the
are
police
dead,
officer,
dude.
exactly. I was
Those
like,
guards
okay,
are
those guards are
dead.
dead. And then they end up crawling up the thing. I'm like, and I'm just, but in my whole mind, seeing like John Cryer in this get up, and I'm like, you know what? If they recast, what was his name, Lenny,
Yeah.
Pete Davidson.
Ooh.
Tell me I'm wrong. The same kind of persona.
The same energy.
Yes.
Wait, so so hold on,
the bumbling idiot.
By that,
The bumbling idiot.
so by that comparison, does that mean
In
that
20
John
years, he'll play Lex
Cryer
Luthor.
has BDE?
Hey,
I mean,
I
you
don't
saw
know.
2.5 Men. I mean, what he was pulling on 2.5 Men.
I mean, I don't know. But in 20 years, yeah, Pete Davidson would play Luthor, on another revamped DC show. But yeah, no, those security guards are dead. Straight up gone. But
Oh
no,
yeah.
apparently they're alive. Because, we can't kill or something. I don't know.
Not in this movie, at least. Not
Yeah.
in this movie, because Lex Luthor was killing people off screen in the first one. But in this one, like, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know why yeah, the previous installments had its levels of campiness because you didn't want to go too heavy because again, Superman is supposed to be a hero of hope, right? Like
Yeah.
he's like the most probably the most popular superhero, right? In the world. And you can't have anything like he's involved with kind of like just straight up, violent, right? Like you're the villain, sure, but at the time this came out, it's like you got to lean towards the campiness, but at the same time, like don't put your characters or scenes in a situation where it's going to be like to the audience, like, no, those guards, they're dead, and then just pull something out and be like, no, they're not. See, here, look, they're cool, they're fine.
Yeah, it's
I
very
don't know.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
Very.
that perfect example. Yeah, perfect example of it. And
Then
then
we
what?
get
To
we
Daily
get
Planet, right?
almost, because we're getting Lois trying to speak French to a citizen while they're
Yeah.
in the subway. Um, I guess, I mean,
Yeah,
the guy that's driving, the conductor's having indigestion or a heart attack because it happens out
yeah.
of nowhere. But we finally, 4 movies in, we
Get the phone
finally get a
booth.
phone booth. It's not the ideal phone booth, but hey, it's a phone booth. But dude,
Yeah.
that flying in the tunnel.
This one, this is where I was like, this just set me off. I was like, oh my god, it just gets so bad. I don't know how they. I mean, I know how they did it, or budget reasons, right?
Oh
But
man.
dang, yeah, it was just the flying. It just got
All of the
progressively
flying,
worse.
dude, it looks like they took a picture. And like if you had
Yeah,
it on the desktop of a computer and then you were like, oh, I want to move the picture over here. You click and hold the picture and then you drag it across. That is exactly what all of the flying looks like in this movie.
I mean, they probably did that. They're like just have a still image and then just like zoom the camera up into it and make it look like, or have someone behind it like in a panel and just move them.
It's the same with the
Yeah. Oh man, it's just so bad.
oh man.
Yeah, I mean, he ends up,
Apparently it was so funny I wrote it twice in my notes.
That was the first note I took was flying is still, It got the flying got progressively worse, and it was like that
Oh,
subway
like
scene was
how?
just so bad.
Like how you had the technology and it looks so good in the other ones, but like, was it that
I'll tell you how.
expensive for them to show that?
I'll tell you how. Hold on. This was the other main note. It was uh this what is it? What was her name? The Salkins? I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, the producers.
Yeah. So they didn't do this movie. This movie was done by the Canon Group because the previous producer sold the film rights to this group, and I think this was like their first or like their flagship, right? Like this was gonna like I guess propel them. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, they slashed the budget to 17 million for this film. Now keep in mind, the opening
Jeez.
credits for the first film, I believe, was like 5 million. Just the opening credits. It was something dumb like that. But yeah, like
Just
the
I can't
total,
believe.
the budget for the first movie was 55 million, and this one got cut from 36, I believe, to 17. So it got cut in half, and it was like 1/3 of the first film's budget,
That's
which
so
is
freaking
yeah.
crazy.
And you'll I mean, obviously in
You
the
can
beginning
see it.
you'll see it, and then later
Yeah.
on, you'll also see it.
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say, speaking of the producers, there is a credit right up front, and it does say Superman Motion Picture Series initiated by Alexander Salkin, which again, I think, like you said, they're not part of it, but hey, they still found a way to. Hey, I
like a
initiated this.
like
I
a
started
legacy,
this.
like a
Yeah.
legacy producer, which I think is the reason why Marvel is prolonging creating like an X-Men film because I think Bryan Singer still has like some kind of deal to be a legacy producer.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I'm not entirely sure if that's sure, but it would make sense because even on the films in the I believe on the any of the X-Men films he was part of, I think that's why they called Dark Phoenix and not X-Men Dark Phoenix because I think if anything with
True.
X-Men, I think he has like a legacy producer credit,
Oh
and I don't know
wow.
when or if that expires.
I mean, smart of him to do that from a business standpoint, but
Yeah,
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 he
that's
could have
gonna be a
done a lot
rocky
of
road
other things
for.
smarter.
I mean, really, just the one thing smarter, to be
Yeah.
honest. Just just don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't
Self
know.
control.
Yeah,
Oh, but yes, as you were saying, we cut back to the Daily
raised by
Planet.
Weinstein or something. I don't know.
Not sure.
Yeah,
Those parties, man. Led
yeah.
to some things. But yeah, we cut to Daily Planet. We're introduced to Mariel Hemingway as Lacey Warfield. So I don't know if you know a lot about Mariel Hemingway. She's done like a lot of movies throughout like the last couple of decades. There's one movie in particular I wanted to mention from 1999 called First Daughter that I watched on CBS. I don't know why, but it was on. It's so cheesy. It's so freaking cheesy, and currently on Tubi. If you wanted to check it out, it is in need of a rewatch on my end, just because I did rewatch a trailer for it, and I was like, God, it could have been this dumb, but apparently it was. She was also in a movie called Delirious with John Candy, which I did start watching and I haven't finished. But the movie itself, he's basically a writer for a soap opera. He ends up hitting his head, and when he wakes up, he's inside the soap opera, like he's a
Okay.
character in the soap opera. So it's a one I have to go back to. But yeah, dude, she's in here, and my God, like every time she's on screen, that saxophone
That's where I'm pretty sure that's where Snyder got the idea for Wonder Woman.
instead of the guitar, instead of a
Yeah.
saxophone, it's a guitar.
Yep. Don't get me wrong. Wonder Woman theme was amazing. Don't need to hear it every time she comes on screen.
Oh my God, for real, she farting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's brought in by her dad to sell more issues for the Daily Planet. They basically more or less kick Perry out. He
Yeah.
sort of excuses himself from it though, because he's like, I'm not going to be part of this. And even he's like, I don't think he was talking about the paper. I think that was just the actor
That was a
breaking
meta thing.
character. Being like, I'm not going to be part of this. And then, we
The
get this
first day on
random.
set.
Yeah, we get this line from Lois: "Excusez-moi, your spoiledness." And we find out the whole reason that she's been learning and using French is because she's on her way to an emergency ministers conference.
Which
And Lacey
okay.
comments that, yeah, it's like, again, she's trying to get out of the movie too. She's like, oh, like, get me out of, you got me out
She
of
was
the
like,
third one.
yeah, exactly. Why can't we do this one?
Like, come on, please.
Yeah.
And Lacey comments that all trips are canceled. So it's like, no, you're locked into this
No,
one.
you're going nowhere.
Yeah, and then this is when we cut to the president delivering a message that the summit has failed due to the crisis, and it cuts to a teacher delivering this impassioned speech to her class about trying to think positively and make suggestions. Makes a suggestion to write to their congressman. She says someone needs to be an optimist, and she calls on a boy, Jeremy, about what they
Jeremy.
could do. His response: "I tell you who I'd write a letter to that would do some good." "Who? Santa Claus?" another student says. Jeremy's response: "No, Superman." And dude, the ADR in this kid's line is so bad. It's so freaking.
It was probably just like a random voiceover, just like, well, we didn't get it, but we can't go get this kid again because he's probably like older now, so it's like go
Hey, my
sound like a
cousin,
child.
my
Yeah,
nephew Tim is here. Hey,
yeah.
Tim, climb into this booth and sing
Go
these
get him, Timmy.
words. So, yeah, and then we cut to a
Timmy.
muse. Yeah, Timmy! We gotta do South Park soon.
Oh, we're 100% doing South Park.
We cut to a museum. Tours being given, and it shows a Superman exhibit with a statue that looks nothing like
Nothing.
him.
No.
And he's apparently donated a strand of his hair that's shown being used to hold up a 1,000-pound ball. Lex and Lenny are shown in disguise. Lex, exclaims, "You know what I can do with a strand of Superman's hair?" Lenny, "You can make a toupee that flies." It's stupid, but I mean,
That's pretty funny.
yeah, it's a pretty
It's
good
stupid
line.
funny. Yeah, yeah. It's
So
fitting
Lex,
too.
yeah. So it turns out Lex's goal is to take the hair and use nuclear power to create a being more powerful than Superman with total allegiance to Lex. I do have a quick note that I put on here during this scene. So when Lex breaks the glass to steal the hair, he
Yep.
uses bolt cutters to cut the hair.
Yep.
So does that mean that bolt cutters are strong enough to cut Superman's hair?
I mean, honestly, I thought that whole thing was kind of confusing because it's one strand of hair, which looked a lot thicker than one strand of hair, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Maybe it was
Yeah.
like
Well, they
maybe a
didn't
lot.
say which hair he was using.
Maybe it was gelled together or something. I don't know. But like it's sturdy enough to hold up 1,000-pound weight that just says 1,000 pounds. Like, okay, we're gonna believe you. But at the same time, it can still be cut. With both. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. If can, I mean, I guess can chain hold 1,000 pounds? I don't know.
You know what I mean, though? Like, I was wondering. So,
Yeah,
like, Superman, if
maybe
he ever has to cut his
he
hair, does
goes.
he use, like, chain
He goes to the
bolt
yeah. He goes to
cutters?
the barbershop and like, hey, I need a new trim. But then how does Clark cut his hair? Yeah, so it's like Clark can't go to a barbershop. He just have like random bolt cutters that are lying around his house, just like snipping his
Yeah.
hair.
Because I always think back to the animated series when it shows him shaving. He just uses the mirror with
Yeah,
his laser vision and just like just
which
basically he gives himself a Brazilian on his face.
or doesn't Hancock use his fingernails when he's getting out of jail? He's just like shaving his hand, like shaving his face like
Oh,
this.
he does, right?
Yeah, I thought that was a
And
pretty interesting idea.
a
But like,
movie that
are
had
you gonna
so much
like?
potential,
Yeah,
so much
that movie
potential.
also felt like it had 30 minutes cut out of it.
Oh my god, yeah. You know what? Honestly, that would have fit in perfectly in this saga. If you
Yeah,
changed it up with Superman, would have fit in perfectly.
yeah.
The campiness. But I digress. Back to the Daily Planet. Lacey is trying to seduce Clark. Again, this is when we're getting the saxophone. She wants Clark to write a series piece called Metropolis After Dark and suggests going to a club together. Um, Lois ends up entering the office and she has a letter addressed to Superman. Clark proceeds to read it aloud. Dear Superman, forgive me for writing to you, but my teacher is speaking about the president's speech on the arms race. We're all very unhappy about it, and I said we should get Superman to rid the world of nuclear arms because only he could do it. I don't care if everybody thinks I'm a space cadet. Nice, you've destroyed all nuclear missiles in the world. They'll see I was right. Oh, once you've destroyed all the nuclear missiles in the world, they'll see I was right. Superman can make sure we don't blow ourselves up quick and easy. Thanks a lot. I know you'll come through. Your friend, Jeremy.
Like, who's Jeremy?
Oh, God, for real. This kid, like no impact in this movie. He's literally the thing that sets the spark off for the whole movie.
Yeah.
And of course, Lacey's response is to use it to make headlines and get a reply from Superman. This is when we cut to Mr. Warfield meeting Jeremy for a press conference. Jeremy saying, I just wish Superman would have said yes, all angsty. So, cut to a newspaper with the headline Superman says drop dead to kid.
Like, dial it back a little bit and then it'll be a little bit more believable.
Yeah.
Like, not just like drop dead, really.
Yeah. And then this is when Lois, Jimmy, and Clark go over the headline. Perry states he's going downtown. Lois makes a comment that it's Superman's decision and that she's sure he'll do the right thing. We do get a shot of Clark in a conference room looking out the window all dramatically. Like, what was
Brooding.
it? That photo of Kennedy looking out the window. But we cut to Superman flying over a mountain to the Fortress of Solitude. Again, another voiceover from Laura. May the elders watch over you, my son. Their wisdom is all that's left of a once powerful and enlightened planet. You must listen to them, Kal-El. And we do get a miniature of the fortress. Um, So he has a discussion with the floating heads, one suggesting to just straight up leave and go to a planet where war's
Yeah.
forgotten.
Leave them to their own devices.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
another one talks of him teaching them to put faith in one man, that he's teaching them to be betrayed. The other head going
Very
betrayed,
biblical.
betrayed
Betrayed.
over and over while it's fading out. And then we get to Clark's apartment. There's a lot of cutting in this movie. There's
Again.
so much cutting. So while Clark is in the apartment, we're watching the Russian representative on TV stating that they've accepted that they are second in the world in the arms race. Lois shows up for the press awards dinner. He cancels, saying he has a lot of thinking to do. He asks Lois to get fresh air. He then proceeds to jump off the building with Lois, and, and she exclaims, "Things aren't that bad." He proceeds to catch her, still wearing his glasses but dressed as Superman. The effects look really bad on this.
Yeah.
Really, really bad. But they proceed to fly across the country, past San Francisco and the Golden Gate Bridge, past some snowy mountains where he lets her go while he's chuckling. And then picks her back up and they go to Metropolis. And
So I have
Lois
to
is
ask.
taking it real well, is what
Yeah, I have to ask. How long do you think this travel flight took?
Dude, for real. And
So
also, like, which way did they go? Did they go west or did they go east and go all the way around?
I did the math, right? So flying, this is ballpark, right? New York to San Francisco is 2,900 miles city to city. So, double that. Let's just say they go from New York, or that's just from New York because Metropolis has always been historically based off of New York. It's
The
kind
big
of like in
apricot.
that area. Yeah. It's, I think according to the DC map that I've seen, it's somewhere near, it doesn't matter. But anyways, let's just, because all the exterior shots of Metropolis show it's New York, right?
Yeah.
Because you see the giant twin towers.
And the Statue of Liberty.
Exactly. So if we're doing based on that, from New York to San Francisco, it's 2,900 miles, one way. So what, 800 miles total? So I was like, let's just think if the total trip was an hour, which I don't think it was because that weren't they going to like some meeting or something like,
Yeah.
they would had to had to have been flying 7,700 miles per hour. That's Mach 11.7 to get
Faster
from
than
one.
Maverick,
I
apparently.
think to get from one city to another in an hour, or I think I might have did it the whole way, right? But I'm like, Superman, 100% can survive. Lois, nah, nah, no, no. You think Cassandra Nova ripping off Johnny's skin was the one thing? Man, yeah,
Go ahead, Lois.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, no. No, I agree. Because, again, they're going past San Francisco and the Golden Gate Bridge,
yeah,
past mountains. So that's telling me that they're going from, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, they're going west towards east. But it makes no sense because how did they leave Metropolis?
yeah. So yeah, it was just, and honestly, in terms of superhuman feats by mere mortals in this film, that's probably the one that's not even that's second, I think, on this list.
Oh, God, yeah.
The first one comes later.
Yes.
Oh man.
I'm already laughing at it because I already know what it is. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Lois is taking it real well. But she knows, that he'll do the right thing no matter what. Now, Lois claims she remembers everything. He kissed her, walks back into the apartment, into a room, and reemerges wearing a white suit, looking like George McFly about to attend the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Now, when he goes back out to collect Lois's Clark, she's shown to have forgotten again. Like,
He kisses her, right?
yeah, and then she's
I'm
like,
wondering. I'm wondering if it's one of those, right? I'm wondering if it's one of those things because, like, I mean, the only thing I can accurately so in the comics when it was Mephisto made everybody forget Peter Parker was Spider-Man, right? Everyone knew of Spooder. God, I'm just combining words today.
it's
Everyone
very
knew of
late at night too,
yeah.
dude. You're good.
Yeah, I woke up at like 7:30. Yeah, so but when he was having a mission or whatever, he was hanging out with the Fantastic Four, and they very clearly remember him unmasking himself to them because they always treated Peter like family, but they couldn't remember who was under the mask. And then once Peter revealed himself again, all those memories came rushing back to him, pre mind wipe from Mephisto. So I'm
Okay.
wondering if that's kind of like what's going on here, where once he kind of picked her up and he like just jumped off the building. Maybe once you realized, oh, Clark is Superman, maybe the previous memories started coming back to her, and then he you know mesmerized her again.
So by that
That's the
logic,
that's
by
the only
that
logic I can think
logic, by that logic, does that mean that is that where Stephanie Meyer got the inspiration for New Moon?
of. Look, I don't know where she got the
If I
logic for it.
if I can't be with the person I love, let me try to hurt
Yeah,
myself
end it.
severely. Yeah,
Yeah,
end it, and then
yeah.
they'll appear before me, and then everything will come flooding back. Which we're
Look,
gonna have to talk about that eventually.
no, we don't.
We don't have to, but man, it's such a good conversation.
Well,
I didn't say the content was good, but our
I
content will be
mean,
good for it.
I mean, what we're discussing now, the content wasn't good.
Yeah, no,
But
no
no, I don't
trouble.
think she got that idea from this because, again, no one watched this movie.
True. But hey, I still stand by what I said in the second one. Lois, a wall, Superman's very fast.
Right.
See our previous episode, Superman 2, for more information. But yes, we cut to Jimmy and Jeremy in front of a hot dog stand. Superman shows up and walks with them, and a bunch of other random kids show up to join them. And Lois and Lacey also arrive. So he makes an impassioned speech to the world delegates that he plans to rid the planet of all nuclear weapons. He receives applause and support from all of them. Cut to a submarine A missile's launched and the janky Superman flying towards the screen comes back.
Just change the backdrop.
And then it's sort of like a montage. Then Russia launches a
Yeah.
missile. He catches it, and this is when it's revealed that there's a huge net
Huge net.
containing all of the planet's nuclear weapons. Then he proceeds to spin and hurl this net into the sun, where we get a very minor explosion.
Minor.
Which, yeah, we're getting like a
later.
yeah, we're getting a Star Trek 2000. Was it 2008, 2009 explosion? With all those nukes, like we're getting like extinction level explosion from that. It's not gonna be this little boom.
I was gonna look that up, like, but I don't want to keep searching this stuff on my like library, but like, how many nukes would it take to like damage the sun or something? Just get a phone, like, knock at the door.
Kaczynski.
Yeah. Just FBI coming in. It's like, so
how do you spell McVeigh?
look, guys. I promise you, though, if we're recording and the FBI comes popping in, upload it, keep it.
1 million views. So yeah,
and drag me out like a Lovin' from Superbad.
Did you know who I am? So, Joe, wait for me.
Right.
So we cut to Lex, and he's meeting with nuclear-based individuals. We get William Hookins as Harry Howler, and Jim Broadbent, like, dude, young Jim Broadbent, as Jean-Pierre Dubois, a nuclear arms dealer. Do you know who William Hookins is?
I do not.
So he has been in a lot of very big movies. He was in Star Wars as Porkins.
Oh, okay. Got you. Yeah.
He was also in
you gotta say Porkins,
Raiders.
Yeah.
At the end of Raiders. Top Men. And he was also in Batman.
I did. That's right.
Eckhart.
Yeah.
Think about the future.
I did look it up. It does say destroying the sun with nuclear weapons is impossible.
You looked it up. See,
for the audience,
it's impossible to blow up the sun, but would it cause at least some sort of, you know what I mean?
Say damage. Let's try it.
Yeah. Like at least, like the
let's see.
Like the shockwave from a nuclear weapon, like would that still be there?
It does say no.
So this movie is scientifically accurate.
There you go. All right.
All right. I learn something new every day. So
but again, we've never tried it.
Mm-hmm. Right. 3 Days Grace taught us it's not too late. It's never too late. So he pitches working with them to destroy Superman. He wants to strap his genetic mutation that has been created to create a nuclear man that can make Superman mortal and beat him to a missile. Or what did I write? Launch it to the sun in order to harness the nuclear.
I mean, yeah.
Basically, he wants to create a guy. It's Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Minus,
using Superman's like genetic mapping DNA, strap it to like a nuclear warhead, like boom, explode it, man gets created.
Exactly. And he also wants money in order to make it happen.
Of course.
Yeah, this is when we also get Lenny is shown conducting scientific experiments with Lex. They even add fabric to give him clothing that a computer will apparently make. Yeah.
This was 3D printing before 3D printing.
Yeah, like sure. Why not?
I mean, I think this might have been 3D printing before 2D printing.
Hmm. Hey, they were ahead of their time. So we cut again to Fort Mason. It's a United States Air Force base. A missile is shown. Lex shows up disguised with Harry Howler. They're in a bunker watching the missile being driven down to the end of the runway. Superman is shown in space catching the missile and hurls it towards the sun.
Yep.
A giant red fetus emerges and starts to grow rapidly in the fetal position. Mind you, there's only 48 minutes left of this movie at this point. Enter Mark Pillow as Nuclear Man. This is his first movie. He has only done 4 projects, and 2 of them were TV series.
Yep.
So he emerges with this like red overglow and red eyes with red electricity, and he's also shown to have pointy fingernails because again,
that can grow too.
Why not?
Yeah, that can grow. He had the Meg Griffin treatment when they got superpowers.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, ow, that really hurts.
So we cut to Clark exercising with Lois. Lacey's also shown to be there as well. This is when he's introduced to her friend, who proceeds to show off his strength. Again, the saxophone is out of control with Lacey. Nuclear Man descends upon Metropolis. Cut to Luther and Lenny. Freaking there's a line he has. I wrote it down just because it's so out there. Uncle Lex, you're spooking me out. But he says it in this like Cali surfer dude Jeff Spicoli voice. And then there's a loud humming noise and Nuclear Man appears. This is when, he shows up and stuff, and like how Lex goes up to him with the cigar and he uses his hand to light it. And this is when like he's, talking with him and stuff like that, and there's a line that Nuclear Man has to Lex. And this is when we find out that Nuclear Man's voice is Lex's voice as well. He says, "You are nothing. I am the father now." Which is what I assume Steven's child will tell him one day.
Right.
That's for you, buddy.
Yeah, he'd be like 8 years old.
I'm the dad now. So these are all lines from Letty. "You're just an experiment, freako." "What's that?" "Oh no." "Oh, I'm breakdancing. Hey, this rocks."
Is that when he was doing some like electrical energy that like wraps up? I was like, what is going on? It was so bad.
This is when the movie, like, if the movie wasn't already off the rails, it's already careened into a ravine. It's going down the hill. It's about to go into the river, and it's still intact, riding the river through the rapids. That is where the movie is at right now. With this, like, it's beyond camp. The spinning, dude, it looks so bad.
Yes.
And then this is where we find out, of course, his weakness, that he gets his power from the sun. Without it, Lex to Lenny, without it, he's like you at night. So it's a funny line, but it's also like, why not?
Yeah.
Now we cut again to Lacey and Lois getting ready for a double date with Clark and Superman. Clark uses an excuse to go pay the taxi driver, getting $20 from Lacey. Which I do like. Leaving, then coming in as Superman. Antics antics ensue.
Constant,
he pulls a Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
He's just like going back and forth. He uses a car at one point to change in this scene as well. It's just a lot of back and forth with that one. Lex uses a private frequency again, very much like the first one that only Superman can hear, but he hijacks a screen.
Yeah.
And I had a question to you about this part. So Can others see him on the screen too, or was that like a missight on the director's part?
I don't know because
Because
I think Luther had a line saying only you can see and hear me, which is
yeah,
so weird. Like I mean I don't think his X-ray vision goes that advanced on like TV like rays or whatever it is. I don't even know what you would call that.
yeah, it was a weird part. I wanted to touch base with you on that
Yeah,
because I was
it
just
would
like,
if it
wait,
was just
how does that make
audio,
sense?
that would have made perfect. You know, it would have just been like, okay, cool, yeah, it's a callback to the first one. But then I don't know. I guess they wanted to do something visually too, because what was it like Times Square or something, or similar looking
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, like it literally like it's right there, and he's like, "Don't worry, only you can hear and see me," or like you said something along those lines.
Which you know,
But
Lacey
yeah,
has some money if she's staying close to Times Square.
yeah, oh yeah. So this is when he leaves. He goes up to the building, and Superman and Luthor speak. So they have a dialogue, and then Nuclear Man comes in, and we get the fight.
The 5.
7 minutes long on this
Yeah.
fight. Dude, the fall fighting to flying.
Was it the railing first, right? Break
Yeah,
in and
it's
then
just watching
yeah,
them fall, dude. The
yeah.
fighting. Again, the flying towards the camera returns. We get Great Wall of China destruction miniatures.
Miniatures. And then this is where again budgetary cups come into place. Where when Superman fixes the Great Wall, they just reverse the footage.
But using stop motion. He's like,
Yeah.
but dude, he
Oh,
uses his vision to rebuild it, which okay,
sure. Yeah.
why not? Um,
Yeah. Just
we,
straight can't. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, and then we do get this is when they're flying over to I guess it's Pompeii, or they're in Italy, right? So
Something. Yeah. I don't know if it's
so
Pompeii, but
this is when we get Superman getting frozen. This one, he's like,
and then
it's so bad.
what
And
is
then the
it to?
dive into the volcano, dude. The dive.
And then
I
doesn't
will
he
say
like
that the
basically cork the volcano with another piece of mountain? Just
so before we get there, the volcano does look pretty cool with the miniatures. I will
yeah.
give it that. Again, the flying in towards the camera again, and then yes, like you said, he lasers a mountaintop off, so it acts as a cork because that's how that works.
Do you think it was just like the volcano, like as good as it kind of looked? Do you think it was just like a science fair project from like the fifth
Oh,
grade?
oh, it had to be with the budget they were on, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, yeah, like that kid Jeremy came to set one day. It's like, yeah, we got to build volcanoes for a fifth grade or whatever it is. Like,
get it now.
now we need it now. We'll help you. You'll get
Get the
an
camera.
A.
Ended up getting a C.
Right.
And around this part, we get the nail, like you said, the nails. We get them extending out, and the little switchblade noise. We get, and then we get the picking up of the Statue of Liberty. I love how small the statue is in comparison to the buildings, because these buildings are like Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, like behemoths,
Yeah.
and like the statue just looks so tiny in comparison. And they're fighting with that and whatnot. And when Superman's taking the statue back, Nuclear
It's
Man catches
305
up.
feet. I don't know if that's base to top or if it's just a statue
So it's the
itself.
whole it's the whole base to top, like shaft
Hold on.
included. Like it's
Right. It's from the ground to the tip of the flame.
305 feet.
So what about just the statue?
So how big are these freaking buildings in Metropolis? Because they were huge in comparison. Like when the statue's flying by, when it's
151
falling,
feet. 151 feet.
it's pretty tall.
So I mean it's pretty tall. I mean how many stories is that? In we're doing research for you.
Shorter than the tower.
15-story building,
Oh, okay. So not. Oh, wow. Yeah,
right?
that's
Actually,
it's
kind of
really
puts things
not.
in perspectives.
Man, that's not too big then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my old building I worked at was 12 stories. Even at that, that doesn't feel that big. Man, I've never been to New York, so I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
You always just imagine it's some larger than life statue, right? Like
Yeah,
it's like the symbol of it's pretty much the symbol of American freedom
yeah. It's literally our
that was
Superman,
gifted from
but a
France.
woman in green,
Yeah,
and like you
pretty
said, from
much.
France.
That used to not be green.
Yeah. Um,
Anyways,
but yeah,
yes.
when Superman's taking the statue back and Nuclear Man catches up, the rear projection that they're using for filming, it's going the wrong way. I don't know if you noticed that.
It
It's
looks
like
off,
he's
yeah.
flying this way, but everything's motioning the other way.
Again, budget cuts.
Superman gets scratches. He's like, ah! The he yells out after putting the statue back, which is a clear miniature when it does go back on.
Oh, 100%.
And then we cut to the Daily Planet from here. Superman's cape is brought in. We get a headline: "Superman's dead?" Question mark. Lacey to her dad. Daddy, stuff it. So she's like finally telling him off because he's like wanting to make money from all these headlines.
Yeah.
How long has it been between then and this scene?
So that's what I was wondering because then like just shortly after this, like or Lois goes to where she thinks Superman would be, and he's like, sick, so he obviously got some kind of infection or whatever from this scratch. I guess it's like a radioactive, the Nuclear Man's probably producing radiation or whatever it is. So, you know,
Yeah.
and then like shortly after that, it cuts to him again when he finds the crystal and he's like super old or something. He's like gray hair and he's like aged, and I'm just like, I
Yeah.
think from this is probably where they cut out a good chunk of the movie. Because again, I think the original runtime was going to be 134 minutes, and we ended up getting it to 89. So like, there's just whole scenes missing. Like all of a sudden he gets scratched, but Superman's dead. Like where did that come from?
Yeah,
So
like it's
this is to me right. It was when that like this part of the film, like we were talking about off the rails. It's just where it was just completely like gone. The train's blown up now. Like
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you cut out what seems like obvious chunks of the film, like scenes missing, like you're just putting out an incomplete movie at this point.
yeah, and
And I think
it's the
you're
time
doing
being
it to like, yeah, you're doing it to like maybe have the film run more in more theaters, but I mean, what's it going to do? Your word of mouth is going to be so bad, like no one's going to go see it again.
yeah, because now we're getting ready to come up on something um that even when I was watching it, it took me out of the movie. It took me out, but we're almost there. We're about to touch on it, but I need to bring it up when we get to it because it's what affected my whole experience with this movie. So yeah, you're right. Like we needed those cut scenes because yeah, the time like there's no time at all
Yeah.
in this. Like time is a joke at this point. Which speaking of, we cut to Lex and he has this stack of cash. He unveils Nuclear Man, and this is when I don't know if you noticed this. Lex has him burn the cash, and when he does, the hand drops super fast, like during the edit. Like
Hmm.
when it's on fire, it's like it drops real quick out of frame.
Yeah.
And then of course we cut back to Clark, like you said, who's looking really drained. He almost looks like Alec Baldwin towards the end of Beetlejuice or
A little bit.
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise at the end of Interview with the Vampire. Just like very like old and whatnot. And then he unveils the crystal from earlier in the film.
Yeah.
Now we do cut to Nuclear Man. He's charging up and ascending like Scott Stapp from Creed. And he stops and he looks at the newspaper and the saxophone plays when you see a pic of Lacey.
Yep.
And this is when he like out of nowhere he flies like to her. This is the moment that I was referring to a second ago. This scene from this point on, the editing is so so noticeable
Oh yeah,
because it almost feels like the movie's being fast forward
yeah,
through. And I even had to pause it because I felt like, whoa, like this is moving really fast.
yeah.
Like there's no breathing at all from this point to the end credits. There is no stopping. It's literally like, he gets there, he flies down, Superman is back, and now he's good and everything out of nowhere.
Yep.
Um,
We don't
and
see
then
what
this,
this crystal did to him. He just
no,
found it. Like, yeah, we got the little note in the beginning, right, about the crystal, like whatever. But again, scenes missing. At least it
yeah,
feels like scenes are missing.
yeah, and you can tell in this point because now like it's all normal, like nothing happened, and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
what? And then this is when Nuclear Man starts destruction, and this is the most destruction we have had so far in a Superman movie. So moving forward, I am gonna bring back the destruction on this in future ranked episodes because I can't really say much anymore moving forward after seeing this one and the destruction that's in here. I really
Yeah.
can't say too much more about the future installments because they were the original ones to do it in this one. Like the other ones, previous entries, yeah, there's destruction, but this one is like
There's a lot.
this is where the budget went is to this scene, dude. The
But
freaking
like
like
as
the
he's
destruction he goes
destroying
and then
stuff,
he was up.
yeah, as we'll say, as he's destroying stuff, all Superman, he's just standing there.
Oh, no, he's not. He's not just standing there. He's saying, "Stop! Don't
Stop,
do it!
stop,
The people!"
stop. Yeah.
Like,
But you're just
that's his
standing there.
exact line. He's like, "No, stop it!" The cop cars reversing, then exploding. As I've said, this one definitely has the most destruction we've seen so far. The final fight feels like a fever dream with how it plays out. It almost feels, like I said, it feels like it's being fast forwarded. It almost feels like AI created it. But a very good comparison of what the end of this movie feels like, the end of Mother is what
Okay.
this movie feels like. And I know you said you've seen it, right?
I've seen Mother, yeah.
So the end of Mother, just like how fast
Yeah.
everything happens, that's what this feels like. And again, it's like a fever dream. It's like, wait, what? What just happened? Like there's no moment for you to like comprehend what's going on. It just happens. And then this is when, they're fighting through the city and Superman traps him in an elevator, flies the elevator to space and drops the elevator onto the moon.
Yes.
They fight and Superman is left on the moon.
Buries him.
Yeah, he buries him. The fighting, dude, is so bad.
So bad. So bad.
It's like
Yeah.
Star Trek, like
Yeah.
the TV
From
series
the
levels
60s,
of fighting.
yeah.
Yes, like
Just so
Captain
bad.
Kirk himself fighting. But back at the Daily Planet, Nuclear Man gets a hold of Lacey, and dude, if you listen close enough when he gets there, the saxophone plays as he's taking her out of the office. I had to rewind it just to make sure. And
You
it
wanted
is
it to play.
I willed it. Dude, and this is the most like, okay, too far. Too far for this movie. He brings her to space and she
Space,
can
yes.
breathe.
Yes.
She can breathe in space.
Like it's not like upper atmosphere. No.
no.
They're like halfway to the moon at this point. Like the background of the Earth is like small and like okay, like it's literally like if the footage you see from the moon of how the Earth looks, that's exactly no. Again, when I said this is not the like lowest being flown at like 7,700 miles per hour. This one right here, being taken to space. Yeah, that one I was like, that was the other note I took, just in all caps. I was like, Lacey in space.
Yes. Breathing.
Like, oh my goodness.
Oh man, but
not to mention what is going to happen to her upon re-entry, but we won't go into that part.
Oh god.
are actually exiting as well.
So Superman causes an eclipse with the moon,
Which
knocking out Nuclear Man, then drops his
also,
body into a nuclear reactor, causing all of the buildings to power up like it's Monsters Inc. when they find out that laughs are stronger than screams. It's just what were you gonna
but like,
say?
wouldn't the moving the moon just cause all the tides and stuff to just flood every coastal city?
Yes.
Again, after
Oh
stopping the
my
Earth and reversing
god.
time, I mean, I guess we can suspend some this. I mean, if that can happen, I'm sure this will be fine. But like, just think
But
of the logic.
that's
But just think of the logic of just like, okay, yeah, you stop the Earth in the first one and reverse time, which whatever. But like, just it just they just compound the camp. Like, come on, like
yeah,
use
this is why the book has
some
been thrown
sense.
out and burned.
Yeah,
The book does not exist. The train is rusted over tenfold. Like,
just so like just use a little bit of logic. Like we can suspend disbelief to a point.
yeah,
Like
this
even
is
even watching current like Marvel fanfare, the MCU, like we can suspend some disbelief. Like, okay, we get it, it's another universe, but some of the core principles have to remain. Just
yeah,
just a little bit.
this is like, oh man, a rush to the end
Yeah.
is what it was. They were like, again, oh man, the paper's due. Let's just try. I want to know if this was Chris Reeve. This was his
Yeah, right.
contribution in the story.
Just rush it to the end.
Yeah. So speaking of, we do cut back to the Daily Planet. Perry returns and casts Mr. Warfield out. We get a final press conference with Superman talking of peace and other planets. I really thought he was gonna be like, "Hey, deuces, like I'm leaving the planet." Um, we do cut to Lex and Lenny. They're talking of laying low for a couple of years so we can come up with another plan. Superman takes Lenny to Boys Town and Luther back to the Chain Gang. And then we do get the final flight with the sun rising up again. And end credits. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. I don't know if we ever truly found peace, but a quest was definitely had. So, Robert,
I
out of
mean,
10, what do you give this movie?
there is a reason why Christopher Reeve in his like memoirs said that the less said about this film, the better. So I think there was a decent start to a foundation of a story here. And that mean I like the political parallel of the time of the nuclear arms between, at almost the twilight of the Cold War. I think you had something to start with, or at least a backdrop, right, of a film, of a good story, good script. What happened? I don't know. Like I think that was a decent start. Um, yeah, and then I mean, again,
Cocaine.
maybe if we can get, I probably Richard Pryor forgot his.
That's what was used to fund the movie.
Yeah, right. He was like, he got out of this so fast he forgot it. Um, um, yeah, I mean, I like the idea of a nuclear man. The film did not execute it well, and honestly, that's it. Like I said, a basic foundation of a story. At least but that's so out of 10. I'm guessing 0 is the lowest we can go.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give it a 1.
Dang.
A 1, and that's just for like the bare. You know what? No, 1.5. Because I also thought the side story with the paper was pretty cool, was decent too.
Yeah.
That's like a side plot, right? Like you got to give these characters who've been around for 4 movies or 3 other previous movies something to do. So I thought that was like we
Technically
didn't.
2.5 with
Yeah,
Lois.
yeah. Like we didn't get too much of Perry into so this one I thought, we got some Perry in this one.
Yeah.
So I like that kind of. I mean, again, it didn't have to take up a whole lot of the film, but it was a good, decent side beat to the movie.
Which is
So one
sad.
point,
Didn't have to take up a whole lot of the film in an hour and 29-minute movie.
yeah, exactly. So you had, and then so I want to know what this other, like 34, 35 minutes that they cut. Actually, no, it was 134 minutes. So what, 40 something minutes that they cut?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
did
lot.
they
It's
shoot
almost
it? I wonder if they shot it, whatever, and they just edited it all out. Like, if that's the case, give us a director's cut, something.
yeah.
I
Like,
don't know.
oh god, another Superman director's cut.
Can't be worse, can it? All right.
Life
What about
finds a way.
what about you? Out of 10.
This movie, uh, this, wow,
Yeah.
wow. It reeks TV movie. It
Yeah.
reeks TV movie. Like this feels like it was shot and funded as a TV movie. Like we didn't
Yep.
have the budget to go big screen, but we had enough money to make a TV movie. Is what this felt like.
Yeah.
The story is almost non-existent. It's somehow worse than the previous entry. It's a step down from Richard Lester, which I can't believe I'm saying that.
It still had just as many cuts.
Yeah, we are so far detached from Donner at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
The ending, I will say this, the ending almost boosts the score with how ridiculous it is. It could work for another superhero, but not for Superman. Like I feel like this has the makings of a superhero movie,
Yeah.
but it's not a Superman movie. He deserves better than this. I am curious, like I said, as to what Chris Reeves' contribution to the script was.
Yeah.
It is hurt. This movie's hurt by bringing back everyone from the original two and completely forgetting everything from part three.
Yeah. No Lana.
Yeah, like no Lana, no Ricky. He still has no dad. Again, see our previous episode, Superman 3.
Maybe Ricky and Jeremy were classmates. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one that was bullying
Yeah, right.
Jeremy. So, overall score out of 10. Having said all of that, I'm actually going to give this a 3.5. So, like I
Little
said,
nicer than me.
it's
Little
yeah,
nicer than me.
it I know, right? How the turntables.
Yep.
Yeah, because like I said, I wanted to give it less, but I don't know why three feels right. And again, like I said, I felt like I was watching it more through the eyes of a TV movie than through a feature film.
Yeah.
But again, like there's enough campiness here where if they leaned into it the right way, it could have been a good movie, but not for a Superman movie. And again, I think this whole saga was just plagued from the beginning because of control.
Yep.
That's all it was. The whole fighting between the producers, between the directors. Like, dude, could you imagine if we had got
Richard
a
Donner could do
Superman?
all
Yeah,
of
a
them.
Donner trilogy, dude.
Yep.
A Donner trilogy. That'd be up there with Lethal Weapon. Which
Yep.
he wasn't able to give us a Superman saga, but he did give us a Lethal Weapon saga.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, but that shows you, like, just imagine what we could have gotten from that. And it sucks. It sucks because again, just like you, I had seen bits and pieces of this movie, but I had never sat down and watched it in its entirety until we had done this. So it's just like again, like I said at the beginning, it's just wow, like like just wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, aside from that, that's all I have to say on Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. But we are not done because, my good sir, we still have our tier list. So I believe I went first last time. I don't recall. And I
I
believe
mean,
it is your turn.
I don't
Yes.
even think there's going to be like any like anticipation with given the score I just gave this, right? Like we know it's not even going to be close to like S, A, B, or C, right? So I think the only thing is, am I going to rank it as back of like very, very back of D, or am I just going to go F? Whew.
This is the question.
Yeah, and honestly, again, not going to build too much into it. I'm going to slot it in F.
Nice.
I think that's the first movie I've given an F. Although we've only done 2 ranked series, I get maybe I should feel honored. It's the first F.
Right? This is a moment. This is hit. This is
Yeah.
Ryan and Robert Rant's history
Yeah.
being made.
Again, like I said, I liked kind of having that backdrop right at the of like nuclear, arms race, at the twilight of the Cold War.
Yeah.
I think they had something that they could have used that, and yeah, it just did not turn out. I don't know, not so well.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Like again, foundation is there. It's just the execution. It's
Yeah,
just like they just didn't care at this
yeah,
point.
no,
And with that being said, I still care about this tier list. So I'm actually gonna slot this in D.
ooh,
Yeah. So again,
very
it's not
nice.
it's a bad movie. But like I said, like I feel like no, I don't I don't want to say what I was about to say, but I would feel like there is a way to enjoy this movie in a different setting. Is what I'll say. That's the
Okay,
easiest way for me to say that. To enjoy and have a completely different experience with this movie. That would make it more enjoyable. Like I said, I feel like from what you said, setting it during the arms race, there's stuff in here. And the campiness, it made me laugh. It didn't make me go, oh, this sucks. Like it made me laugh because of how stupid and
yeah,
ridiculous it was. So, of course, nowhere near A, ain't even touching B.
yeah,
It's not as bad as the third one, but I mean, it's not as good as the third one, but it's definitely worse.
yeah.
So yeah, that is where I am at. I am Superman
All
4 Quest for
righty,
Peace is in D for me. Awesome. But yeah,
fair
that has
enough.
been Superman 4 Quest for Peace. We made it to the end. Thank y'all so much for watching. We appreciate your time. We appreciate everything. Did want to mention the journey is not over. We still
Nope,
have more to come. So
2
definitely
more.
two more. So stay tuned for those. Uh, as always, as Robert says, get in the comments. We need and want to hear from you. Start a dialogue with us. Apologies, allergies. But yeah, we want to hear from you. What is your take on Superman 4? Have you seen this travesty? Is it a travesty? Is it salvageable? Like get in on the conversation. We want to hear from you, as Robert always says. And of course, please, if you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe. We have a lot of content available right now. We have a lot more coming as well. And Robert, would you like to tell them about that content?
Absolutely. So if you've made it to this video, I would hope you have watched our first 3 ranked Superman movies. We did Superman, Superman 2, and Superman 3. We also did a ranked series on Mission Impossible. That whole franchise, that was a lot of fun. That's a franchise we hold near and dear to our hearts. So we felt that had to be the first one that we had to do. And we also got a bunch of trailer reactions. We recently did the Resident Evil Requiem. Normally we do movie trailers, but we had to do this one. I wanted to do that one. But let's see. We also got the Big Bold Beautiful Journey. That was an interesting trailer that we watched. Again, bunch of trailer reactions. Please feel free to check them all out. Let us know what you think. Again, we watch a lot of movies. So there's a
Yeah.
wide variety, a little bit for everybody. We don't discriminate.
Amen to that, Robert. Thank you as always for everything, and thank y'all as well for watching. Have a good one.